framework is actually extremely simple. Just like most wisdom in life and like principles of success, it's simple, but not commonly used to master. And so like, one of my favorite quotes is the most advanced people are advanced because they master the basics. Like they're advanced in the basics, not in advanced things. And so like a simple framework I'm going to show you today, and to show you like different ways of handling a conversation in the actual psychological process to get a person from like, who am I? Who are you? To like, yeah, do you have Wednesday open? Can I talk to you then? Can you talk today? Like that's kind of what the goal is. And that's what we're going to go through. We were doing about $250,000 a month before like Unipro, and it was taking us a lot of time. So we're doing it from 250 to 500 grand a month. And sometimes we did challenges and that worked really well organically. Other times we just do the DMs every day. DMs, we book calls. We're booking like 5 to 10 calls a day. On a low day, it's like 3 to 5 calls. With a couple high ticket closers on your team, you're probably going to be closing at least over 6 figures a month, depending on your price point. So we were doing that, but it was taking us a lot of time. In fact, what I noticed was my setter was taking so much time with all the things that Unipro takes care of. It's taking away time from the things that actually move the needle, which is conversations. Now, if you guys want to make more money in your business, you have to have more conversations to book calls. I'm like, well, how do we get more conversations started? We got to put out content that makes people engage so we can reach out to them. Unipro took care of the first part and even a little bit of the second part. Everything after that is what we're going to cover in this training. It's an organic sales process. What happens after you get someone to raise their hand or say anything? In fact, for us in our business, even if you like a post, you're a lead to us. We're messaging you if you like a post. There's different types of leads to us. There's inbound friend requests, outbound friend requests. There's comments, there's likes, there's shares. Anything that has to do with engagement, interaction, we count as a potential lead. So we message everybody. So off the bat, if you guys aren't messaging people that like your stuff and only message people that comment, you are missing out on a lot of money. Okay. This is a big one. A lot of people don't look at that. They go, they just hearted it. I go, yeah, but most people, human nature, they're not going to comment. Especially, it's like kind of weird. It's like until they see a lot of people commenting, they won't. So comments are going to be on the lower end of interaction where we can have a lead to start a conversation with. Whereas the likes and the hearts and all that stuff, that's what you're going to get way more. When we get a post going viral, we have like hundreds and hundreds of likes, maybe like 80 comments, but the 300 likes, that's the leads. So we message all of those people. So the major things give you one, something called the conversation loop. Conversation loop, you can write that term down. We're going to go into something called the conversation loop. It's a strategy that we teach our appointment setters and we use ourselves for pretty much never getting out of a follow-up cycle. And follow-up is going to be majority of your sales. But we'll do the conversation loop. 90% of your calls is going to come from how you follow up. And there's a lot of creative ways to do it and the right ways to do it and there's wrong ways to do it. And the wrong ways give you ghosts. Okay, so you guys put that a lot. The wrong ways to follow give you a lot of ghosting, give you a lot of awkward tension, give you a lot of, hey, man, leave me alone, give you a lot of, unfriend. And so what I'm going to show you is the conversation loop is going to fix all of that. Every day I'm reviewing my appointment setters conversations. So like what I'm about to teach you is like vetted data. It's not like my opinion. It's not something I took out of course from YouTube. And I'm like, let me teach this. I'm an expert. I'm not. Like I looked at everything. I actually look at my data. My data's showing me what works, what doesn't. I'm going to give you some ninja hacks, by the way, too. So conversation loops first we're going to go through. Second, I'm going to break down our high-ticket messenger script. Third, we're going to do some ninja hacks. I'm going to show you some cool ways we get responses boosted. So if someone's ghosting you right now, I'll give you a couple of things you could do that's going to make them go right back into your, at least half of them are going to respond to you. And it's proven work from data. You guys ready? That's the build up. I just wanted to get into it. I'm excited. You guys ready for this? If you guys are ready, all right, guys, let's rock them. Conversation loops. Essentially, it's how to start and follow up. Okay. So it's like a follow-up system in a way. When I started training my setters, I realized and helping all of our clients, I'm like, man, there's a huge problem here. Like a lot of people don't respond. They ghost. They don't care. They're not engaged in the conversation. Even if they do respond, they're giving you really bad answers. I'm like, what? I need more data. I need give me something. Care about this date. I feel like you're just like eating the bread and looking away until the date's over. That's what it felt like. So I'm like, what's the problem? I'm a huge bottleneck source kind of guy. So I'm like, what's the source? Not the symptoms. Most people diagnose symptoms, not the problem. The problem creates symptoms. The symptom is they're not responding. They're ghosting me. They don't want to book, or they book and they don't show. All those are symptoms. They're not the real problems. The real problem is what's causing people to be this way. So it's usually how you go about the conversation. It's not what you say. It's not even how you say it. It's the process you're putting them through. And the process doesn't allow them to want to care, allow them to want to engage, allow them to want to show up. So this is how you start and follow up in conversations. It's very simple. Pretty much when you start here, the lead, you start a conversation, start combo. We call them new lead openers. When we send out a message for the first time to someone, we call them follow-up openers. When we send a message to someone who's a follow-up, we've already talked to them before. And KPI, if anyone tracked KPI metrics here, new lead openers versus new conversations is how you calculate new conversation reply rate, and follow-up openers versus follow conversations, how you calculate follow-up reply rate. And that's how we know your two reply rates, so we can see what the bottleneck is. Is it the first time messages or the follow-up messages? And given the fact that follow-ups are where most of the money is, or where most of the book calls come from, then eventually you want to make sure that reply rate's high. It's okay if the new lead reply rate is like 20 or 30%. The follow-up reply rate should be like 60, 70. Like out of 10 people you message, 6 at least respond to you as a follow-up. Okay? So when you start a conversation, pretty much the goal is to get them to what? The call. That's what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to get them to a call. So look at this, boom, boom, boom. We're trying to get them to a call. Now, not always does it happen. This is about 10% of the time, maybe about 10% of the time, honestly, maybe even 5% of the time, it goes straight from start convo to a call the same day. And usually when you do an inbound DM, that happens because they're asking you buying questions and they saw your content. That makes good content does that. You need good content. That happens as well. But most of the time it doesn't go straight to the call because nobody wants to admit they want help. Nobody wants to just pay money anyways. And here's the thing, guys, if you guys have any money issues, like I got a couple people here saying, hey, is there an investment for this? Guys, just know this, everyone's going to be like that. Everyone's going to be like that. Everyone has money problems. Everyone can't afford it. Everyone, it's too expensive. Trust me. Why? Nobody woke up that day and thought to themselves, I'm going to spend money. So of course they're going to think they can't afford it and it's not on their budget because they never budgeted for your program. The act of business is you getting them to want to pay for it. Okay. That's what business is. It's not that they come to you ready to pay for it. If that was that simple, everyone would be successful business owners. But the act of marketing and sales is to get them to want to give you their money. I can tell you countless times on a call where someone's like, I'm dead broke, can't do this. I'm like, all right, well, aside from the money, you want to? When we do this, our sales script and our process, and they'll go, yes, I do. Great, so let's have an open, honest conversation. How much money do you have in your bank account? And they'll say, $20,000 saved them. And I'd say, right. And how much do you have credit cards? And they'll say $15,000, but 10 grand I owe on. Right, so I'm thinking you have 25 grand right now. You're saying I don't have money. And this is the problem. It's because they didn't plan to pay me money. So my point is, I got to find a reason for them to want to. We got to find leverage. Everyone write that word down, leverage. And leverage starts inside of the conversation. This also increases your show-up rate, how you book the call. You also have a really bad show-up rate or really bad sales close rate if you don't book the call properly. Leverage is important. So if it doesn't go straight to the call, here's what you do. You either want to send them to your Facebook group, right? You got the Facebook group as a nurture place. And from the group, they might go straight back into a conversation to start the call. Because if they say message me, they'll book the call. Now, maybe inside the group, sometimes you'll do a Facebook Live and then you just give them the link, book a call. They might go straight to a call from the Facebook group. If it's not the Facebook group, you're going to give them a resource. This could be like I'll write it down here. This could be like a YouTube video or just a training. It could be a PDF or, a document, cheat sheet, just something, right? These are what 2 steps are about. So you give them a resource for free. That might push them to the call, or it might take you back into the conversation. Now, I want you to notice something. If you never gave them an option to go to the group and tag them in something in there, which Dave and Lucy do really well, by the way. We're like group hacking your group on how to run a Facebook group because you guys run a really good Facebook group. I wouldn't even say my Facebook group is the strongest source of sales. For me, it's when we do viral posts in Facebook groups and we do outbound messages to the people engaged in those groups in different groups or posts. And our conversations are so good, we convert sales. But other than that, our actual marketing, like our group, like you guys run way better. But let's just say you don't do that, or you don't give them something to actually go learn from you. The problem becomes what? If I message you on Monday, right? Let's say I message you on Monday. I go, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 icebreaker. And then I go for the call and you say, no, I'm not interested. Or we never get there. Imagine on like Tuesday, so this is Monday. Imagine somewhere on like Wednesday, I'm just like, hey, how's it going? Anyone do that? How's it going? How's going it? Anyone do that? Everyone just like, hey, what's up? Hey, just circling around. Oh, you're looking good today. And so now you got this really awkward thing. No different than if you went on a really bad date and you see the person on the street again and they're like, hey, and you're like, hey, just late to a meeting. See, the relationship dynamics is no different than sales dynamics. You guys getting me? So like, this is the problem. This is not follow-up, guys. This is desperation. This is not follow-up. This is desperation. This isn't a system. Someone say system. You need a system. Here's the system. When you give them a resource or something for free, the group, you give them something, you leave them. I call this one the leave your bracelet behind method, okay? The leave your bracelet behind method. I totally made this one up. I swear this has never happened. Let's say you go over to a special friend's house. You stay over. You guys had a great time. The next day, you're gonna leave your bracelet behind. You're gonna go home. And you're gonna message that person and go, hey, my bad, totally forgot my bracelet at your place. Guess I need another reason to see you again. See, when you have a reason to follow up, doesn't feel weird. And it gives you the right. So whenever you leave behind something, you have a reason to come back and get it. So if I send you to a Facebook group, this is, by the way, the resource is more important. So if you send them to a Facebook group, tag them in something. Give them a resource. So the point is always give them a resource. Give them something. Because you know what your follow-up message now is? Here's the follow-up message. Follow-up message is, hey, did you go through the thing yet? Now, do you understand why it totally makes sense for them to respond to you? Of course, because you're responding about the thing they told you they're going to check out because you said you sent it. Now your follow-up has meaning. There's a reason. This is how you avoid awkward follow-ups. Does that make sense, everyone? Rule number one for follow conversation loop, the whole key for conversation loop is you never start a conversation without leading towards something to leave behind. So whether the conversation starts, and we'll go through the script in a sec, but when you start the conversation, you're either going to take them straight to a call because they're ready. If they're not ready, you're going to get them to join your Facebook group to tag them in something. And if they're not open to that, you're just going to send them something for free. And write this phrase down. Never give anything to anyone. You do the if I, would you method. Would you? Never just give it. Protect your links like children. Protect them like they're your gold. You're only going to give it to the most trustworthy people that actually deserve it. Make them ask for it. Commit to it. Never give away. This is how you also increase engagement rate, participation rate. So if you send them something, they actually watch it. If you just go, okay, cool, you don't want to talk to me? Well, here's this 50-minute training I have. They're going to be like, yeah, thanks. I mean, what do you want me to do? Nothing, right? But instead I go, hey, if I were to, would you? My favorite is like, even when we book calls, go, if I sent you my calendar, can you pick a time right now? I don't just go, here's my calendar, book a call. That will get you at least half the drop-off rate right there. Half the time they will drop off, they won't book a call. You got to get people committed. The art of sales, persuasion, influence, leadership is the art of getting commitments. Commitments is the holy grail. And by the way, here's a cool little hack for you. After you send the link, write this to them. Put message after, like, write this. If you put that, it creates this in-person effect as if you're standing outside the door waiting for them to go grab something inside the house and come back out. Now, it doesn't always work. Everything is just a 1% optimization. So we still get people that don't book right after this, but now we got a few more people that go, oh, okay, right now, all right, no problem. They go book a call and they come back. And then I also go, send me a screenshot. Send me a screenshot. Once you're done. We're just getting them constantly in commitment loops, right? The conversation loop and this commitment loops. Commitment loops is getting them to always like agreeing to doing things for you. The more in the habit you get the prospect to do stuff for you, the more they'll do stuff for you. It's pretty, I mean, it's kind of straightforward. But sometimes we're afraid to do that, right? We don't want to be pushy, we don't want to be demanding, but none of that has to do with this. It's just about having strong communication skills, strong leadership skills. Like, hey, we're doing something. This is a relationship. If I want to do something, let's hang out. But we're going to hang out and I say, what time do you want to meet? Great. Can you meet me at this corner? Are you going to pay? Are you going to bring the fruit? Should I bring the water? Yeah, bring my bracelet. I totally forgot it. This is the second date now, right? So like everything's strong communication. There's nothing pushy about it, right? It's a little controlling, but a factor controlling in sales is important because you need to have authority. You got to control your environment. It's very important. You got to be the authority. So like send them, like if I were to send you the link, if I send you my calendar right now, can you book a call? If I send you this training, will you watch it today? If I send you to the group, will you join and answer the questions? If I, would you? When you get the yes, you go, here you go. I'll wait right here. Okay. Most people, they do this. Most people go, here you go. Let me know when you're done. Let me know when you have questions. If you need anything, I'm here. Like, you're just like, all right, you have permission to leave now. I don't need to talk to you anymore. Loop them back in. When you give them something to do, give them a second thing to do right after so they have to do it with you. And always have them boomerang back. Maybe we call that. That's what we could call it, the boomerang. I'm just making a bunch of terms for you right now. The boomerang effect. You throw a request, it comes back to you. So you never give one task, you always give two tasks to a person. In fact, we do this in my company for operational sake, right? We're like, I need you to do this and then confirm with me when it's done. Boomerang effect, right? Or else it's not completed, guys. Ghosting isn't ghosting, it's not personal. It's because there's a lack of conversation structure. You are not leading with clear expectations of what you want them to do. So that's the conversation loop, guys. This is what it is. We'll do Q&A after, or do you want to do it after every segment? If you start like this, and the principle is you never leave them without something to follow up on. This is huge, man. Even in sales. The worst thing a salesperson could do is get on a call. They never make a decision to buy. They don't take a deposit to buy. They don't give them a time from nothing. They'll be like, let's just talk next week. Or they'll just hop up like, all right, let me know. That's the worst thing. Let me know. And get up, I'm like, when's your next follow-up call booked? Oh, we didn't do that. He's just gonna message me tomorrow. I'm like, trust me, he's not gonna message you tomorrow. That doesn't work that way. And guys, I mean, this is frequently pretty parallel to like dating world. It's kind of weird. Every time I call him, like the dating example comes back up because it's so parallel. When the person says, I'll text you, I'll let you know, what does that mean? I'm not going to. Okay, that usually is the case. So when the prospect says, I'll let you know, I'll call you back, they ain't going to. Because if they're going to do anything, they would have done it on the phone or in the conversation right there. So you need to maintain the lead. Maintain the lead in every conversation. You decide how things go because you're the foremost expert, guys. Let's not forget, they're the ones with the problems. You're the one with the solutions. Why are you feeling inferior? Why are you insecure? Why are you begging them? You don't need to beg them. Doctor doesn't sit down like, are you sure you want to come in now? Can I take your blood test? No, they go, hey, you're probably sick. I got to diagnose you. Get your ass in here, right? Like, I don't have time. Like, take that doctor effect. Like, the feeling of like, I'm the authority. I don't got much time, but I'll help you out. Let's talk. Let me see if I can diagnose people, guys. Diagnose them. You're the expert. Clear, guys? So if you ever, and I promise you this 100% of the time, if you leave them without something to follow up on, you will most likely get ghosted, awkward responses, pretty much nothing. It's dead right there. You killed the lead before it even became one. Right? And when you go to the messenger script, and I'll show you, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But you leave them with the resources, leave them with the Facebook group, even leave them with the question. Like, hey, look, I'm curious. Let me know what, like, your KPI, like, I've done this before, but like, look, I would love to know your KPIs. What was your calls booked, sales made, cash collected last month? And I'll see if I can help you out. I'll message you tomorrow. Let me know by tomorrow. So when I come back tomorrow, I go, hey, do you have the numbers? That will get you a higher response rate. If they actually can respond, they will. But if there's no reason to, they have no point to, there's no reason they won't. That's it. It's very simple, the problem of ghosting, most of the time, just from that alone. That's 80% of ghosting. The other ones, I'll tell you how to fix. Now the conversation script. You guys ready for the conversation script? The framework, man. The framework, single-handedly responsible for millions and trillions of dollars, maybe not trillions, in sales from organic marketing. I'm gonna show it to you right now. Now, it's an extremely complicated process. There's 4 steps. First one is always the opener. And this is very important, or an icebreaker. I would even say qualifier. I'll explain to you what that means. Then you got the current situation. Then you got desired situation. And then you got the gap. So pretty much, I would even say the gap. This would be the problem. And this is your leverage, by the way. And then you got the offer. Offer for call. Yes, you're looking at it correctly. These 5 steps, this 5-step framework books hundreds and hundreds of calls. We booked over 1,000 calls. We've already booked over 500 calls this year, which is pretty crazy because our sales process is so tight. Even with 500 calls, we've done like 2 million. And I think about that, like some people book 500 calls a month. Now, would you want to book 500 calls a month and make 2 million? 500 calls a year. Quality, not quantity. All right. But that's all in the sales process. We'll go over a little bit about it. This will also help you with sales process. So if you're like, with sales, this will explain to you psychology. Because to me, my messenger script is pretty much an extension, a short version, a summarized version of our sales script. That one's about 16 steps though. It's a psychological process. This one is fine. Why? Because we just need to know why they need to get on a call. We're selling them on getting on a call. Give us your time. Then we say, give us your money. We'll show you how to get results. So here's how it works, guys. It's really simple. Essentially, what we're looking at is opener qualifiers always like, depending on the kind of message you're sending out. When we do a viral post and someone comments on our post, we send a message to them and go, hey, thanks for the love on my post. That's it. We don't even do anything else. Conversation. So I'm going to give you the outbound version of our script, which is like the best version of it, like how we book our most calls. Inbounds are easier. We just go straight to this, right? Because we just want to qualify. I think that's what kind of you saw Dave in the referral chat. But this one is a little more tricky. So most people slip right here. How to go from qualifier without being creepy or salesy to like getting information about their situation and their problem. That transition is really awkward. So there's some ways to do it. But the opener is gonna be like, hey, thanks for loving my post. I'm like, oh, awesome. And then you go into a qualifier. So it's kind of like one step. So the qualifier, sometimes it could be, and this is very cliche, like it's very oversaturated. So we're creating new ways of doing it. But sometimes I'll give you an example. Cool, it looks like I just checked out your profile. You run a coaching business too? For us, we'd be like, are you a coach? Oh, it's interesting. What's that program about? We qualify them. If they go, oh no, I'm not a coach, I'm a nurse. I go, oh, cool. Have a good day. Disqualify. Then you go to the conversation where the qualified prospects you want to talk to are. They might be like, yeah, I've been running it for a couple years. Now we got something going. Okay, so now we got something going. We're going to the qualifier. So we broke the ice. We go into step number 2. The whole point of current situation. So over here, the goal is to get rapport quickly. Don't start chatting with them. If you have it too friendly of a start, you're gonna have a non-authoritative tonality of conversation. So if you have too friendly of a start, you'll be like an equal to them and like you'll stay there. And equals don't buy from equals. Equals buy from superiors. They definitely don't buy from inferiors. So if you look at the 3 different like postures in a conversation, you're looking at the equal. Equal's like, I'm a friend. Yeah, me and you are the same. Oh, I'm a coach too. Equal. Then you go superior. Superior is, wow, like, how much are you doing your business right now? Someone like 10 grand. I'm like, man, I thought you were making way more. How come so low? Superior. Now they go, damn, you got me thinking. What do you mean that's so low? And then we start creating inferiority in them. And what happens is, and this is all, by the way, totally ethical, totally good feeling. What we're doing psychologically is we're making sure they can guide themselves way into their pains, because most people avoid their pains. They can't fix it from avoidance. So we're trying to get them aware of it. We do that by great questions. And we need to be the authority in it. So we go authority, and they start seeing us as someone who's like actually has answers for them. So they start opening up more. If you go inferior, it's when you like elevate them. Someone you're insecure, it's like more like, wow, like I can really see you building something great. I really admire your content. See, that's an elevation to it. And so that's also important as well at certain parts of the conversation. Now I'm gonna give a full disclosure. This is a framework. No person has made lots and lots of money in business using frameworks. They've got some money using frameworks, and they've made a lot of money mastering frameworks, going deeper. So everything after this is a skill you need to develop like a muscle, guys. Like I'm giving you a framework for a workout routine, but unless you go work out every day or a long period of time and stay consistent, you're not gonna have muscles. Pretty simple. I think that's straightforward. So don't expect like flying colors overnight. You're gonna get a lot of results overnight, but it's not gonna last unless you sustain your consistency and getting better at it. So rapport is one part, but you also want to see if they're the ideal client of yours. ideal client, right? So we want to build rapport, open up, make it cool, ideal client. Current situation. We want to ask things like, so where are you at with that? Where are you at with whatever it is? And it has to be like, where are you at with the goal? Like what the business. So for us, it's business. So if you're B2B, right? And we go, oh, cool, you're running a business. So where are you at with things? You've been in business a couple of years. So where are you at with things? And that's a very generic question. If I see it's more cold, the lead, like there's like an off-standish kind of tonality, I'm going to be way more vague in the beginning so I can get specificity. If I go too specific, they feel interrogated. So if you go like, how much money are you making? they'll be like, dude, I don't even know you. Leave me alone. Right? But if you go, oh, awesome. How's business going? You hitting your targets? Like that's more vague. Like, cool, you on track to hit your goal for the year? They might be like, yes or no. And they'd be like, what is it, by the way? See, that's an indirect way to get the answer you need. Because you want to know where they're at. We want to get the current, we want to get the goal, and we want to get the gap. So if you look at it like this, it's like they're here, right? It's like they're here. They want to be here. And over here is the problem, the gap. The gap is the reason they're going to book a call and pay you money. Does that make sense, guys? The gap. The gap is the reason they're going to book a call. If the gap was properly identified and it has high leverage with a lot of pain, they'll show up to the call. If there's not, and you do a bad job and you kind of just find a tiny gap and they don't really care too much, they're not going to show up to the call. Because when they think like, what am I going to do? Am I going to get on this call for an hour today? Or am I going to spend time with my daughter? Like, they'll probably be like, daughter's more important. But if they go, oh yeah, remember, like, I'm not going to be able to pay rent, or I can't like go another year with this kind of health, like lifestyle of eating, my daughter could wait. Let me get on this call. You see what I'm saying? You got to get the prospect to that state of mind where the problem is the only most important thing. All right, let's move on real quick. So current situation is like, where are you at with goal, right? Then after they tell you, then you go into, where do you want to be? Now, I actually don't like this, so I'm gonna give you a new way of doing it because it sounds way too scripted. We actually don't say it like this ever, never actually. What we do is we say this. What's the next big goal you're working towards? Well, so what's the next big goal you're working towards? That's way more like, I'm just a friend. Like, so what's the big thing you're working towards? What's that big next thing you're doing? They're going to tell you a number. They're going to tell you a weight loss. And again, I'm using B2B. So for B2B, like I'm doing like, what's your next revenue goal? For weight loss, you'd be like, so what's your next body goal? Are you looking to do competitions? You're looking to just slim down? You're looking to be able to run marathons, right? If you're in dating, what's your next thing? You want to get a girlfriend or a boyfriend? Do you want to get married? You understand what I'm saying? Like, no matter what offer you do, there's always a next big goal. There's always a process, the journey of a client. And so you got to understand your process. I won't know it. You will. But you got to know when that is so you can time pace them. Like, where are they at now? Where are they going to be? You're the expert that can jump them through. Okay, so what's the next big goal? The gap is, and this is the way you say it, and this is my favorite way of saying it. It works really well. You say, what do you think? Important, you say the word think. You need the most right now to do that, to do or fix that, right? It's really important you say it like this. If you go, so what's your biggest bottleneck? They're gonna be like, dude, you're not my consultant, leave me alone. If you go, well, why haven't you hit it yet? It's a little invasive, like personal. It's like, what do you mean? If you go, oh, okay, that makes sense. So what do you think you need the most right now to get there? To hit your goal, to fix that problem, to get your business off the ground, to start your diet. What do you think you need the most right now? They're going to give you your leverage. Now, it takes skill, and again, practice every day to know if that leverage is enough. Eventually, you start getting the rhythm of this, and you realize if something is like surface level or something is deep enough. Surface level is going to give you a bad show up rate and a bad response rate, and possibly a bad close rate, even if they do show up. But a deeper level, like you feel like, oh, that's it right there. I hit a chord, like that's something important to them. You'll know they'll show up, you know, they'll buy all that good stuff. And so this is where you want to know, what's the actual gap? Like, hey, you're here. I'll give you a random example for like weight loss. So it'd be like, hey, thanks to that love of my post. You might post something about your transformation, for example. It's very, very typical what we do. So like, here's your transformation. Awesome. Thanks for that. Thanks to that love of my post. I really appreciate it. They're going to tell you something inspiring back. Like, yeah, you really inspire me. That's awesome. Like, I can't believe you did that. It's really cool. And you're like, absolutely, you know, always working on the grind every day. And then you'll go something like, hey, by the way, I checked out your profile. Looks like you're into fitness too. Or like, are you working out currently? And that's a little too direct. See, like I'm catching myself. Like, are you working out currently? No. You want to make it very vague. Like, unless they're inspired by you, you could be more authoritative right off the bat. You essentially got to earn being the authority. And you do that by being a little vague and going specific until they're giving you the right to ask more specific questions. You got to feel that out though. And again, that's all practice. So when you go into it, it's like, hey, cool, I checked out your profile. Your kids are adorable. Are you finding it like hard to work out as well when you have kids? Because I remember I did. So I'm making it very personal, very like friendly, I'm saying. And they go, yeah, it's really tough. I'm working out about twice a week right now. They might tell me their current situation. Twice a week right now, and I'm learning, right? And they go, yeah, I'm doing this. It's really tough. I'm thinking of getting a trainer, but it's a little expensive. So now you already know money's a problem to them, but you don't go, oh man, this person's broke. I can't book a call like this. People exaggerate. Never assume, okay? Worst thing you do in marketing sales, assume. Assumptions don't pay the bills. Stop assuming anything. Don't assume they are closed. Don't assume they're not closed. Don't assume they can't afford. Don't assume they can't afford. Don't assume anything. It doesn't matter what you assume. What matters is what is. And what is will only happen if you let it. Let them show up to the call. You know how many people I thought would never be able to pay for my programs? They did. It's crazy. And some of those people became top clients of mine. I'm like, how did you pay for this? How did you do this? And they're like, figured it out. I'm like, damn, imagine I was the asshole, sorry my language, the asshole who projected my limitation on them. My judgment. Oh, you can't do this. Look at you. You look broke. You sound broke. You can't do that, guys. We're not allowed to choose for the people what their destiny is. We got to let them. Our job is to create the opportunity for them to choose their destiny. All right? Some people will, some people won't. Luckily in high ticket, you don't need everyone. You just need a very small percentage. 1% of a market makes you $1 million. So you're gonna know the leverage point. They're gonna open up like, I'm trying to work out, really expensive, whatever. Like, oh, cool. Now, the framework says go to the goal. The problem is, this is why coaching is really important. Like with our clients every week, I have my top appointment setter, my top salesperson, and myself. We're on calls and we're coaching calls and we're reviewing people's conversations. We're looking at them. We're coaching them on how to develop like the rhythm of sales, the rhythm, like the in-house, like knowing what to do and what to say, because it takes creative dancing. So like in that case scenario, I wouldn't go straight to the goal right after. I would go a little deeper of like, oh, interesting. Like, so how come you're not working out more? Like, is the gym far away? Like, I'm trying to figure out more issues. I want to get as much issues from them in the current situation as possible, because it tells me how unsatisfied they are. Because then when I go to the goal and I build desire there, I go, man, that must suck here to here. What do you need to fix it? And then that's why they get on a call. So I'm going to give you a simple example, but there's deeper things. You got to like practice this and like know how to actually achieve the goal of every step. Like you got to go deep here. You got to go deep here. You got to go deep here. And if you don't go deep, you'll get like vague answers or like surface level, and you'll do the script. They might say yes to the call, but they might not show up. They might not book. So you can still do this like in bad quality, but you could do it right, but you can do it with bad quality. So that takes skill. Let's just say in a perfect world, they go, yeah, I wish I could work out more, but I can't right now. And I also don't know like how to work out, like what to do. So you go, okay, cool. So like, what's your big goal? What are you trying to hit? Is it a body fat percentage goal? Do you want to fit in your old clothes? Like, what is it? And they'll be like, well, I want to achieve this percentage of body fat. I would love to be in this dress by next summer. But cool. So like, what do you think you need the most right now to start doing that, to get that goal, to get out there and get in that dress? They're like, well, right now I really need to understand what to eat. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do this. All right. So what do you think is the biggest thing though? Like if you were to get right now, it would help you. Honestly, just someone tell me what to eat. If I knew what to eat, I'd be ready to go. Like, cool. And then you go for the offer. The offer specifically, we say it like this. You can say it however you want. I just don't like any other way but the way I say it. I'm biased. Some people do long paragraphs. Oh, awesome. Let me do all these things for you. No. I just go like this. Very nonchalant. And the more nonchalant it is, the more personal it is, the less marketing and sales. It feels like a friend's talking to a neighbor. You just go like this. You go, got it. I don't even put def. I just put def. You just give me a nonchalant. A little bit of slang makes them feel like you're not even trying. It's not a sales process. I definitely think I can help you with that. And then a comma, you free to chat this week? That's it, guys. That's the money. That's the money question right there. You free to chat this week? I talk like this to everyone now. I'm talking to my mom sometimes. I'm like, yeah, mom, I can't talk right now, but you free to chat this week? It just comes out of me. It's like a habit. You're free to chat this week is the holy words of a packed calendar. The amount of times you say, are you free to chat this week, is the amount of times you get yeses or nos. The more yeses and nos you get, the more packed calendars you have. Offers, making offers is the major KPI of anything in business. The amount of times you tell the price on the call and the amount of times you tell the calendar link offer in chat. Those are the two KPIs that control your income. And the more you do them, the better they are and the better your income gets. So yeah, got it. Definitely think I can help you with that. You free to chat this week? And you'd be surprised at how easily, and especially in the beginning, most of our clients that come in, they're like, that was really weird. People just said yes and booked a call. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. But at first it's like that. Eventually you got to get better and better and better. And people start following you around. You got to get better follow-ups. You can't just do that. But this is the framework. And what you're doing is you're looping them. Remember the conversation loop? You're pretty much going through this conversation right here is the high ticket messenger script. So whether you go into this, the resource, they might tell you something, you go back to like current situation again. Cool, so that helped current situation. So like the goal was this, right? So what do you think else you need help with right now? If this resource didn't help, like you're always doing the current desired gap. You're always just going back to that. So you're looping them in conversations all the time. And then you're giving them, and you're going through the sales process with them in the chats. And you just keep going at it. Hey, definitely I can help you with this. You free to chat this week? Okay, so this is how you do a new conversation and you book calls. This is the high ticket messenger script. It's a few more steps than this afterwards. Like if you have a setter and sales process, we do something else as well for like after booking. And there's a lot of tactical ways to go about this kind of framework, but this is the framework. This right here. If you get really good at this, you'll book a ton of calls. Now, before we end off, because it's kind of like the, let me see if I have more here. Yes, I have some ninja hacks ready. So I can give you a couple like one times, here's what to do, not a training, but just show you what to do. Ninja hacks. First one is creating something called a voice note library. Now, you guys know what voice notes are. How many of you know when you send a voice note, you undoubtedly get more response and engagement from the person than a text and a message? Now, if you don't believe me, I can pull up any messenger chat right now where we have 3 to 4 ghosted messages, 3 to 4. Some of you would stop at 2 ghosted messages. We keep going. My setters every week, just circle back. Question mark, right? We'll do a question mark first. So like the way we do it, we send the message to ghost, then we send a question mark, and then we send like everything okay? Question mark. And then we send, before I had the voice note idea, we send another one that says, I think we did like a push away, like, hey, it's cool. You don't have to look at it anyways. It's fine. Something like that. And someone's like, no, I'm sorry. Like, and I learned that one also from a dating example. It's weird, but push away works. I'm gonna give you more dating examples. It's a funny story though. But you just push away. Like, hey, it's not a pull away. Like, I'm gonna take this away from you. It's more like, hey, you don't have to do this. Hey, look, you don't have to do this anyways. You probably are too busy anyways, right? Sometimes you're really strong. If you had a strong authority in the conversation, you could do a pull away. But like, hey, look, if you don't have time to check this out, I mean, probably don't have time to work together anyways. And so like, you got to hit it right though. If you don't hit it right, it's like people get, rubbed the wrong way. But if you do it right, they go, I'm so sorry, you're right. So what we do now is we send a message. Sometimes we don't even send a text anymore. The opener is a voice note. Do the setter do the voice notes yourself. Don't even record them, because you only record them if setters are doing, because they can't do your voice. So like grab them and she's on the call. Ooh, Bill, a hybrid setter and salesperson. That's crazy. I wonder how that's. We never split like roles. We always do like full timers, because it has to become like a factory where everyone hands it off. But we'll talk about that later if we have time. So for the setters, you want to give them a library. I'll show you how ours looks. For solos, just voice note people. Like, don't type, voice note. And say the script I just gave you. Hey, thanks for that love on my post. Here, I'll literally show you right now. I have this. So some of you guys, if you ever get this, if you've ever talked to me and you get a voice note, sometimes it's me. Sometimes it is. I'll chime in. Other times it's this. I'll show you right now.
And by the way, I noticed that you put that you wanted me to reach out to you personally to see if my team and myself can help you with reaching your goals right now in your business. I'm going to be busy with clients, but my team's calendar is open to speak with you just to see if you're a good fit for what we do and how we've created multiple millionaires and dozens of multiple six-figure coaches with our infrastructure and our systems and methods. We just got to see if what you do in your offer is a fit for it. So if you have time to chat this week, let me know and I'll send you the link so you can hop on the call with my team.
So this is a longer version, but because on voice notes, words move faster, you can say a little more. On text, you don't want paragraphs. You want short lines. You don't want paragraphs in text because they just overwhelming to look at. In voice note, you can get away with saying a little more. So I have a whole list. I'll show you guys right now. Actually, let me see if I can do this real quick. I'll show you what our voice note library looks like. I just want to make sure we have Q&A too. So this is our voice note library, dramatically increased response rate from leads. And so what I have is every single one. General setting is like, thanks for the support on my post. Where are you right now? What's your next big goal? What do you think you need? Ghost after a question. So like, this is my favorite one. We sent this and we started getting tons of responses after we came up with it for our first time.
Hey, I'm just following up. Haven't heard back from you for my last question. Everything okay?
It's mint. Works really well. A lot of people respond. Link but no sense. So you send a link sometimes. They don't book a call. We have one for that. No show follow-up. So like, hey, you booked a call. What happened? You didn't show up to the team. Post call, no sell follow-up. This is a really important one. Most people don't utilize their setter in the sales process, and that's a shame. Every time you do a sales call, if they don't buy, the setter should be advised to go back and go, hey, the only thing is this. If you have a salesperson, so if they talk to someone else other than you, if they talk to you, it's weird. Obviously, you can't be like, hey, just go on the phone with me. Salesperson, setter person's you, right? So you go, hey, I noticed you booked a call on my team, but you didn't buy. You didn't join the program. What happened? Direct question. Every time I get people like, hey, the payment options don't work. Hey, I was really wanting to, but my offer isn't ready yet. And I'm like, boom, I can overcome that with a voice note. Sale right there, boom. Those are the most high ROI activities you could do, right? Shopping around close. This is a really good one too. For every time someone's like, I'm looking at other competitors, I have a whole 1-minute voice note where I just like overcome that objection. Did you request to join my group? These are people that join the group that don't answer questions. The group questions, we have one for that. Are you free to chat this week? We have, and then we create new ones overall. So we have this, but we also have, here's the second one, video response library. I said here, video note. They call the video note library, response library. Okay, so this is the same thing, but on video. So we did the voice notes for a good year, and then we're like, we need to change this up. So now I go between messages, voice notes, and videos, and it looks so like engaging and real. So like, look at this. So this is a random one. I just filmed a bunch of these in my house.
That's epic. That's epic. Then what's the next goal? So like, I understand where you're at. But like, what's really the next goal? What's that big thing that's exciting you right now in your business that you're working towards?
So there's just a bunch of short videos where I'm just saying the exact same script. See, when you have a consistent framework, you can create scalable tactics around it. If you're always changing it up, you can't. So right now we have an entire thing where I have all of this broken down. Does that make sense, guys? So this is the second one. Let me give you the third one real quick. I love this one the most. All right. So the next one is this. Second one is the video library. So now you have 3 different modalities of conversation. You have text, voice notes, and videos. At some point, one of those is going to capture their attention. And then you got my favorite one. This is primarily for ghosting. So these two are to get to hack response rate and engagement rate. But I have a ghosting ninja hack. So only for ghosting people. And I honestly would only do it if you're like 3 or 4 messages in. I want to do it like after the first one. Then you seem really needy. It looks really weird. But what you want to do is if you're like, you send a message, they ghost, then you go question mark, they ghost. You send a voice note, they ghost. Then you could do a video, or you could do, I want to do a video. I want to do video after voice note, after ghosting. I would do this. I'm calling it the butt dial method. The butt dial method is you literally call them and then you hang up. This is crazy effective. I can't tell you how much this works. Instagram and Facebook, you can just call them and hang up. So you just wait for it to ring and then you hang up. And then they're gonna see when you get a missed call on Facebook Messenger, you get this really ugly, like red, like missed call right at the top of your notifications. And that's gonna capture everyone's attention. Now, 2 things are gonna happen. 3 things. One is they're gonna see it right away. They're gonna be like, oh, this person called me. Oh yeah, this person I was talking to. If they had forgotten only because like they're so busy. Second thing that's gonna happen is gonna respond to you right away. Third thing that might happen is they're gonna be really creeped out and either block you. I've never actually had that. I've never had someone block me, full disclosure. But they might just be offered like, why are you calling me? And I'm like, oh, my bad, butt dial. Following up though, just wondering where you at with that. Works. And sometimes it's just brilliant. I think someone tried to call me once. I'm like, what do you do? And then they're like, hey dude, my bad. I thought you were super busy. Accidentally called you. I was trying to send you a message instead. I'm like, oh, cool. And then we got back in conversation. Doing whatever it takes to get the attention. Attention is the currency of business. You can keep it, you'll make a lot of money. All of our clients, they just get this stuff from us because like it takes some time, but if you put in the time to do it, you'll be super, like, it'll be really paid off. Like your ROI on time and money will be good. If you're solo, I would just keep everything as engaging as possible until you have so many leads you can't do it anymore. Then you get a setter. Once you get a setter, you scale. But keep it all qualitative. That's the wrap.